dancers. Oh, so here we are. Apparently already.
It's not coming on my Instagram yet.
No, because I need to invite you. Give me a moment. Hey guys, I'm having some difficulties coming in Instagram. So here we are. Hello everyone. My name is Diana from the Consciousness Festival. And as usual, I'm here inviting you to share a little bit about dance and consciousness. And today I have a very special invitee. I'm going to put his name here to invite him. Where is it? It's not showing. Let me try again. Giten, can you let me see, I'm trying to invite you, but I cannot help. I think you need to go. Are you online in Instagram?
Yes.
Strange, I cannot invite you here for some reason. Maybe
The
you try to go.
biodynamic breathwork, not my own personal.
Yes, I'm trying to add that one, but maybe you want to try going on Consciousness Festival, and then I might be able to find you. Let's see. Sorry, guys, this is taking a little bit. So if it's not working, then we're just gonna leave it in Instagram, and then we're going to just join you guys in Facebook. Sorry, guys. I will upload this interview here in Instagram later today. Bye, guys. So back to our friends in Facebook. So Gita, we can just drop the whole thing in Instagram for now.
Okay.
Good. So back to you guys. Today I have a special friend called Giten Tonkov, and he's going to be one of our facilitators at the upcoming retreat edition of the Consciousness Festival in Greece on June 25th till 29th. And I'm going to open here his. Hi, Giten, welcome. Thank
you. Nice to be here.
Nice. Welcome to the Consciousness Festival. So, guys, I'm very excited about Giten. It's a friend of mine, and I know that he loves dancing as much as we do. He has been practicing a lot of contact improvisation as far as I remember. And he is also the developer of BioDynamic Breathwork and trauma release. And I have invited him specially today to talk with us about his work, the importance of breath work, what it is doing and why it is trauma release, and the importance of breathing and breath work when we dance. Yes. So, Giten, maybe you can share a little bit about biodynamic breathwork and trauma release.
Yes, absolutely. So just to talk a little bit in a nutshell what biodynamic breathwork is. So it's a trauma release modality that consists of 6 elements. So the first one is deep, full, connected breathing. And the second elements that we use is movement. So the movement is very, very important part of working with the body and releasing trauma. The third element is touch. So we use breath, movement, touch. The next element is sound. So we work with our voice as well as recorded music. And the next element is emotional expression. So when we are opening the body up with breath, we're creating a charge within ourselves. The next element that comes, that we take that charge into our expression through movement, and we use breath, we use unwinding movement, we use contact improvisation. There's a great variety of movement. So that creates the space for opening to be receiving touch. And the touch, for sure, is another element that supports that deeper opening and release of tension from the nervous system and actual physical body. And of course, this sets the stage for the sound, to our expression. Using our voice is the most powerful musical instrument we have. And this creates the stage for the next is emotional expression. When we open our body, the emotion that are stuck in the tension, in the physical tension that's been living in our body for years, has the chance to move. And the last element we bring in is the element of meditation. So we have an opportunity to integrate everything that happened throughout the session. So I want to talk a little bit about the connection between the breath and the movement. So when we are breathing deeply, we're using our sympathetic activation. So it's kind of our gas pedal in the body. So we bring up the charge through connected breathing. And sometimes we breathe in through the nose and out through the mouth. And other times it's a deep, full connected breathing in and out through the mouth. So this type of breath activates our sympathetic nervous system. So this type of low grade to medium grade activation, we don't bring it into too much of a charge, is needed to bring up the material, that the emotions, the stuckness that has been living in our body, bring it up to the surface to activate it. And
Mhm.
that activation we take into the movement to express it. So a lot of the times the movement that we work with is this undulating, um, unwinding movement of the spine. So because the spine is really becomes really tight and constricted and rigid, because we hold so much tension in the core of the body, all the tissues surrounding our spine. So the work that we do, it's really scientific. It's based in the studies of how the body opens, how the fascia works. So we bring the movement in combination with the breath to support that deeper opening, kind of opening ourselves from the inside. It's what we call this authentic or conscious movement.
Mhm.
So we surrender to the natural movement that comes out of just simply breathing. Breath in itself is movement. So when you're breathing deeply, there's so much of this movement happens in your body. Your chest is rising and falling, your diaphragm is moving, your lungs are expanding and contracting, your rib cage is expanding and contracting. So there's so much movement happens in the body. Your pelvic floor is involved, your thoracic inlet is involved. So we take that movement that is facilitated by breath and take that into expansion, consciously expanding this movement. So it comes from the inside out. We don't really do any movement. We're simply allowing the movement to expand, the movement that happens already in our body. And that's what the beautiful thing about it is, that the movement is natural. It's not imposed. We don't try to do any kind of dance movements. And when we surrender deeper into this process, this movement is actually taking over. And it looks very graceful, it looks very beautiful, it looks very opening, and it feels fantastic. This is another concept that we bring in, is a concept of felt sense. So working with being present to our felt sensations in the physical body. So we don't just move and disconnect. We're actually staying present as much as possible on how this movement in combination with breath feels to us. We track the physical sensation, and that gives us an opportunity to drop deeper into the sense of our physicality. I hope that explains it pretty clearly, that the concept of what we're doing.
I think in these things that we do is really about the own experience,
Yes, absolutely.
because we can talk a lot about it, which is important also to get some understanding about it. But the real thing is in your body. And this is an experience that you get and you will never forget. And nobody can tell it to you until you really go through it
Yeah.
and experience it in your own being. You said something that it's that I have experienced many times in your workshops and with your work is this movement that starts happening by itself. Yeah, I hear you very often using the word unwinding,
Hmm.
and I find it also very sensual. It's um, it's like a flow
Hmm.
of energy that starts just happening, and it looks almost like a dance from the
Yeah.
outside. It's not like I am going to dance now, but it's just what listening to you, what came up for me was latihan,
Hmm.
this
Yes.
this um, Indonesian technique. I think it was Indonesian,
Indonesia.
where it's about just allowing the movement to happen without trying trying to make it happen. Okay,
Yeah.
so I want to hear maybe a little bit more how we use breath during, not the breathwork workshop, but how does it support us when we are, for example, dancing
Hmm.
in another type of workshop, or walking or cooking, or in our daily life?
Yeah. So breath and sensation is very much connected. So the deeper we breathe, the more sensitive we become to actually feel our body. So using the breath in that particular way is to be able to actually be present to our felt sensations. The moment we want to stop feeling, we stop breathing. We hold our breath, or we make our breath very shallow. So when we're moving, this gives us an opportunity, first of all, to become more energetic. Breath is energy. The deeper you breathe, more energy you have in your body. So you can go on continuing to move. And breath gives us an opportunity to also begin to release the stuck tissues in our body, tissues that have been where the energy has been trapped, and sometimes for years. That's related to our past traumatic experiences. So the energy was released into the body and not fully expressed. It got stuck. It cannot go back to where it came from. It just settles in our tissues, in our muscles, in our fascia. So by bringing deeper, fuller breath, we are becoming more alive, more sensitive, more able to expand our movement. And like you pointed out, the movement does look like it's unwinding. And I call it unwinding movement because when something is wound up tight, it's holding energy. But with the breath, that energy begins to release. So with the movement, we move that energy through the body. So when you are walking, when you're dancing, when you're doing anything on the daily basis, bring in deeper breath and your body awareness into it, for sure, absolutely will bring your understanding of yourself, your sensitivity of your own body into another level.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it also begins to unlock that stuckness, that like stuckness in our fascia.
Yes. Yes. I can relate to what you're saying right now. Aliveness. What I have noticed is that when we are dancing, or when we do whatever we do, but now when we are talking about the Consciousness Festival, and we have 2 days long of dance, or we have, in this case of the retreat, 5 days of dancing, if we remember to connect with the breathing, it's gonna make us go easier.
Mm-hmm.
This is what I have experienced, because many, many times we start hitting these resistances, and then we start getting tired, and the mind is, my body is tired, I can't keep going.
Yeah.
You connect with the breathing, you start connecting with the breath, move with it, and it's like touching the next layer of energy.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. The breath, like we both said, breath is aliveness. It's life, and it does bring you in contact with your bioenergy. It supports you to go deeper into unlocking that store of energy that's been trapped in your tissues. So that's precisely it.
Yeah. And you mentioned it also before. In the moment we start breathing, we start feeling, and there's a lot of fear regarding feeling. There are so many things we don't want to feel because they're
Absolutely.
uncomfortable, you know?
Yeah, sometimes the emotions that would come up are not very pleasant, but if they're not felt, they are kind of just taking away our energy, our sensitivity. We're becoming numb. So breath and movement is a perfect recipe for opening. Breath, movement, sound. This is a three kind of best best recipe to open the body, to feel, to create space for aliveness to flow through us.
And I like the recipe because when I talk about the program of the festival, I always say we have prepared a cocktail. And this is it. You have a cocktail June 25th till June 29th, first retreat edition of the Consciousness Festival on the Greek island of Lesbos. And we have exactly this perfect combination of breath, movement, and sound. So you're all very, very welcome to join us. In the description, you will find a link to all the details of the event. Giten, I would also like to ask you about, I mean, how does a person end up developing such a work? You know, how come you fell in love with breath work?
Hmm. I was a massage therapist since 1994, and I was working with the body on daily basis with my clients, and I started to bring breath work very naturally into my body work. And not until I actually visited Osho meditation resort in, I think it was in the year 2000, that I really fell in love with breath work. I got an opportunity to experience a breath work session there for the first time, and it really blew my mind. So from that very first session, I knew right away I want to work with this modality. And since then, I started to take all the courses I could, the trainings from in different disciplines around breath. Before that, I was working with breath just purely in the yoga tradition, in pranayama. But it was very different from a yogic breath, what I experienced there. So for many years I've taken courses and trainings and bringing in all these different other elements into it myself, beginning to experiment how it would be in combination with movement, in combination with body work. That's how biodynamic breath work and trauma release developed, by me experimenting, bringing different elements into it, how they support each other, how they complement each other. It is a complementary modality. It consists of the elements that actually support each other for bigger opening. So it's really an ongoing process, because I have had an amazing experience, an amazing healing working with breathing. And of course, the more I started to learn about how trauma is stored in the body, the effects of trauma, how the trauma works in cutting off our feelings, cutting off our life force energy. So I started to bring in the components of working with pendulation in the work, working with resource, working with felt sense. So that took the work with breath to another level. So moving away from a very strong cathartic expression, which I have been exposed to in when I first started. Since then, there's so much more understanding came to the surface around trauma and how it affects us and how it's stored in the body and what to do to release it properly. I have done so much screaming and beating the pillows and yelling and all that Osho style confrontational and cathartic therapies, which I'm grateful for. But this is not how we work anymore these days. We work more soft with conscious expression instead of kind of losing yourself in that catharsis. So. Yeah, working with breath that we work now, we breathe with the periods. We bring up the charge and sustain it for a little bit. So it's not a very high level of charge. It's like low to medium level of charge. Then we bring it down to the resource and let the body to process this charge. And then again we bring it up. So we create the resiliency, expand the resiliency of the nervous system, so the nervous system can be with a larger amount of charge without feeling overwhelmed. So this came as a process of my own personal growth with it and experimenting with, by now, thousands of people that I worked with over 20-year period, working with people all around the world, teaching trainings and groups, and it's it's definitely. Um, I wouldn't want to do anything else in life. That's how I came to with this work.
And what's your a little bit story, let's say so, with dance? Because I know you are a big dancer as well.
I love to dance. This is my favorite way to stay connected to myself. I feel so embodied when I do that. I was never a professional dancer. I never really learned any dance style per se, but it's something that I love to do. It's my meditation. I love contact improv. I love I love all sorts of dance. Any way that if I hear good music, the music has to move me, and of course the slowness of contact improv and athleticism of it and sensuality and sensitivity of it, and that's what actually brings me into deep meditation, into a no mind state. And this is why I love the movement, dance in particular, the particular contact improv, which will, in my workshops during the dance festival, we will use quite a lot of this type of movement. I'm so glad to be able to, after all this lockdown for the past year and a half, barely being around new people, to come into actual physical contact with people that want to gather. And Greece is an incredible place to be. I love that place. Osho Afro is such a beautiful environment. to explore.
Yes, yes, I fully agree with that. So, guys, you want to experience this beautiful approach? Join us June 25th till June 29th on the island of Lesbos in Greece in the first retreat edition. Thank you so much, Giten. What a joy
Thank you,
to talk.
Diana.
Guys, see you next Thursday, 7 p.m. Berlin time in Facebook and or Instagram, depending on the challenges of the day. Bye.
Bye, everyone.